back home again. Just this little sucker. Which way? That way a little bit. Maybe that'll do it. What a hunt. What a fall. What a crazy fall, man. Anyway, this is a blacktail hunting video. I haven't done one of these for quite a while, but I've kind of been skipping out on blacktail hunting the past couple years. More so because I moved back to Vancouver Island, but I definitely haven't deserted my favorite special places on the mainland where I chase big blacktail deer. Anyway, I really wanted to get into more hunting opportunities in British Columbia, start chasing other animals, looking for big mule deer and whitetail. Did that, had a lot of fun, got a great big record book mule deer this year, got a big one last year, and kind of shied away from my blacktail spot a little bit, mainly because my target buck probably passed on of old age or a wolf. And then the second one, number 2, who I followed for, I don't know, 6 years, he finally didn't show up this winter. I kind of felt he was gonna possibly pass on this last year. He was getting real old, and he made it. I never got him. I did have him in bow range once when he was just a 3x2, but he made it. He eluded everybody, lived a long ripe age, and passed on his genes. Congratulations, right? Anyway, I got home from a mule deer hunt this year, and it was just bugging me because I knew that the first week of December was usually going to be more productive with the weather changing the past few years, and my gut was screaming at me to go pack up my shit and bolt for one of my favorite bow hunting blacktail spots. Wouldn't matter, gun or bow. Where I hunt in this particular spot, if I see one, if I get one, it's going to be probably 30 yards or under. It's just the way it is, it's a big timber. So that's what I did. Went in there, and I managed to drop 4 trail cameras on a particular trail on my way up north this year. Left them, went and checked them. There's probably, I haven't done a count on the deer, there might have been 20 different deer in there in the past couple months. Maybe half a dozen or more of various bucks racing around, and only 2 that what I would consider harvestable or potentially harvestable. And the one buck I got on the camera, he looked like a real nice buck, but I'm telling you right now, not a blacktail snob, but when you chase a buck like Zeus or number 2 for a handful of years, they demolish it for all other deer. I mean, those were absolute, very rare, both 1 in a million blacktail deer. You know, Zeus would have easily been the new British Columbia #1 blacktail ever recorded if I had harvested him and stuck him in the record book. To give you an example how big that sucker was. So, and I obsessed about him and number 2 for how many years and had no time for any other blacktail deer. So, I'm just saying when you see these bucks on a trail camera, it takes a little bit more than average to get a guy excited after putting in that time and having that kind of interaction with 2 freaking huge blacktails like those other guys, right? Understandably. So I've seen these 2 bucks are the largest ones in the camera. They were really active in the last week of November. Then it seemed to have shut down on what was on the trail cameras. And when I checked the trail cameras the other day, there hadn't been a deer crossing in front of those trail cameras for like a week. And there was snow with a crust on it, and you could tell where the snow had melted down. And it was cold out that morning, the morning I went the other day. So, what did I do? Check the cameras. Nothing seemed to be overly exciting on there. I'm like, well, I'm here. Obviously, the trail cameras will never get every single buck in the area, but the ones that I'm familiar with in that terrain, usually I can get them on the camera. But anyway, so nothing was down there. So literally, as I'm sitting there checking an SD card in my SD card reader in my iPhone, I always got one of these SD card readers here. Never really home without it. And I'm sitting on a stump reading it, and I look up, boom, there's 2 does not 15 yards in front of me. Talk about not being aware of your surroundings, right? I mean, right in front of me. I'm like, whoa. So I always have my cell phone in my jacket pocket right here. So I unzip, get the cell phone out, and I videotape him. Here's the videotape here. I'm like, well, there's some bait. But normally I just sit with does. I sit with does as long as I can. But the trail camera showed that nothing had even gone by on that major trail in over a week. So I wasn't overly enthusiastic about hanging out right there, because automatically in the back of my head I'm thinking, okay, I gotta get up higher. Everything's higher. Everything's always higher. When there's not as much snow and when the rut tapers off, the big bucks always go up. always, and hang out up there. So, being very, very knowledgeable about your area and what the deer do plays a huge role in success, right? And I've hunted the spot for what, 15 years or something? Anyway, so I hiked all the way around back to my truck, drove to another zone, parked. Again, nobody even driven in here since the last time it snows. Crust on top. No sign, no fresh sign. I'm like, oh man. Oh well, keep on going up higher. Usually that's what I found too with these big black coastal blacktails is there's no sign down below. There's no fresh sign in the snow. They're higher. Doesn't mean they've disappeared. They're higher. So I started going up and up and up and cutting no track at all. I'm like, oh my God. Oh well, I guess they need the exercise, right? All right, I'm probably, what time is it now? 9:30 in the morning? Somewhere around there. So I start circling up to get above this timbered knob. Big, mature timber, never been logged before. And I am already familiar with the fact that lots of large, mature blacktails in my past experience here, the odd one or two will always claim the top of that timbered hill and bed up there, and they'll go down the migration trail and do the thing in between there, see if there's anything on that trail, and then they'll go back up again onto that knob when it starts to slow down, or when there's not too many deer around. So that's what I was doing. I went up there, and right away, boom, here's a big track coming down the right trail. And that first set of tracks seemed to have been probably a handful of days old. But then I saw a second track again, and this is the only track up there is big buck track. That's it. There's no does, a couple coyotes, and here's a fresh track coming down again, real fresh. And I'm like, oh, he's here. There's one on this hill. There should be one on this hill, unless he booked out of there. But I was already down, way down the other end on that migration trail, which I consider it is a migration trail, but it's also, they'll go up in the past, the bucks will go up and go down the migration trail during the rut, back and forth from 5 to 7 kilometers. I've tracked them doing that through the rut. So the chances of this particular buck being on this particular hill, he might be, it's looking pretty good, right? So the thermals have already slowly started to change, so it's not just sinking air, so it's safe for me to drop over the top. I start going down, and I know of a bed that big bucks have continuously used over the years. Sure enough, he laid in it. But and everything's covered in frost. Everything's white with frost, frozen from the clear evening the night before. And there's a little bit of frost on the moss in the bed, just a little hint of it, just enough to tell me that he must have left this bed at least a couple hours ago. All right, that's fairly fresh. And I already know there's one doe and a fawn about 1.5 kilometers that way. And if he's gonna head down the trail, he's gonna bump into him. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I wonder if he's gone all the way. Should I hike all the way back, get in the truck and drive all the way around and hike down the trail again? No, let's go a little further. He might still be up top circling this hill, hanging out. Start dropping down, and I'm tracking him on moss. Boom, here's a big bed, and it's fresh and a big footprint. I'm like, oh, he's right here. So I start tracking him. He's side hilling. I'm like, okay, cool, he's side hilling, because I don't want him to go all the way back down. I want him to stay on this top. It's easier for me to get on him and get a shot. And it tells me that he's not migrating all the way down again, because once you start tracking a buck, you might potentially be committing yourself to a whole day. Who knows how fast they're walking, or if they're going to stop or not, right? So I start following him to the side hill, but then he drops down again, and drops down. Now he's on the migration trail, and he's dropping. And I'm dropping. I'm like, okay, I'm going a little bit further, just in case he's hooked up with a doe. Little further. Oh man, I'm getting a long ways down. Little further. Shit, he's going the whole way.
Well, I got on a buck and he bedded down last night somewhere. And there's a little bit of frost in it, but real fresh in his bed. And they lay down again. But I bumped him up out of it, so I tracked him for quite a while. He's heading down the mountain, and I know exactly the trails that he took and where he's going. And I was just there, about an hour and a half ago. There's a big mature doe there. So I'm gonna circle back around and head him off. See if I can find the doe again and see if he's found her. And if he hasn't, I'm gonna sit over there and wait for him. How fun it is.
I think he's going the whole way. And if he is going the whole way, from what I know guaranteed there's a big mature doe and a yearling about 1 kilometer that way. I don't know if there's does in between, but I'm gonna get back to the beginning again. So I hiked all the way back up this frickin' hill, all the way around, get in my truck, bashed it out of there. These are all deactivated logging roads, access. Bashed it out of there, drove all the way around the next hill, bailed over, and I started to do a hike through the big mature timber and the moss bluffs in a horseshoe to try to drop down, because it's a different angle coming from the timber. And I'm trying to remember exactly how far away that particular trail is and where it is in the timber. And I'm going over moss rocks, through little timber dips, over moss bluffs, through dips. I'm like, come on, the trail's right around here somewhere. Have I gone far enough? And I'm not seeing any fresh sign. Seen 2 or 3 different deer sets of doe tracks, but they were probably days old in that crusted, frosted snow crust, right? So I'm coming around, going through big timber, and I'm getting into the dark, thick stuff. I look up, and that's right where the trail was, and here's this buck standing on the trail coming this way, just as I was hoping, suspecting. Obviously it was him, the track maker. And if it wasn't coincidentally, one of the 2 largest bucks that I caught on the trail camera the past 2 months. And I can't remember the exact date, but I think the last time he cut through the trail cameras was like a couple weeks ago. So random frickin' luck. There's always luck involved, but I knew by the patterns and the actions of bucks previously that if he's committed to going that far down the migration trail, he's going the whole way. So I knew to look at the sign and see that it was fresh. And I knew, shit, I got a chance of possibly cutting him off, but I was already way down the migration trail about an hour and a half earlier without any bucks on the camera, any sign at all, and just the 1 doe. So I knew, yep, this buck is in between here where I am at the top, where his bed is, and where my camera is. He's in there. He's in there, and he's going downhill. So I knew to circle around, hopefully get on the trail before he passed by, and start still hunting up the trail towards him, and either bump into him, or maybe bump into him with a doe. But either way, that was my best bet. Was it gonna happen? I don't know. I've probably done that same move about 50 times and never even seen a deer, right? So, but it's all I had. So I started slowly going through that stuff, trying to avoid the crunchy snow, trying to stay on the frosted moss. And then there's this thing looking at me, slight quarter towards me, and he had me pegged for a while, obviously. I'm like, uh-oh. I looked away, couldn't even tell what it was yet, saw the big muzzle in the body, big body. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm busted. I looked away, started scratching my face. Body language is so important. I try to drop that hint on as many people as I can. Your body language is huge, huge when you're hunting any game species. So he still stood there staring at me. I had 2 spruce branches coming down and screening me. 2, and a bush in front of me. I had to get around that bush, and maybe I'm looking up ahead, there's no opening, and I'm looking casual. And I started slowly walking my left, because it's all I had. There's no way, he's already got me pegged. I can't do anything. If he turns around, I'm not going to get a shot. If he jumps that way, I'm not going to get a shot. If I stayed put, the only way I'm going to get a shot is if he continues down the trail, which he's not going to do, because that puts him towards me a little bit, right? So, I'm like, okay, well, I got nothing to lose. Scratch myself. Don't freeze up and stare at him. Look away right away. Look casual and keep going this way. He's on my right. 1, 2, 3 steps. He's still standing there. Oh my God, I might get a chance at this thing. And then I looked over and looked down. Oh, it's a big one. Now I know maybe who it is and I know who it isn't. Then I wrap around the bushes in front of me, drop down to my knee, clear shot to him, 20 yards, drew back. He's still standing there. And as soon as I drew back, I knew that it was all over. And I remember telling myself, aim low, aim lower, aim lower, aim lower. Because I don't know why, myself and most bow hunting hunters I guided, they always shoot high. Everybody shoots high or over with a bow. Don't know why. I do it too. So I knew this previously, and I'm telling myself, aim lower, aim lower, aim lower. I drop the pin, down to right where his heart would be and drilled him perfectly through the lungs. He lurched ahead, ran ahead about 30 yards, stopped dead, and I'm like, oh, he's standing there. So I, as fast as I could, I got my cell phones in his little zipper pocket here. I pulled up my cell phone, hit record, and I recorded it. And if I didn't catch him falling over on video. What? What? Right? Crazy. What? It's a crazy experience. It happened so fast. Everything happened fast. Everything happened perfectly. And I was texting a friend of mine as I was going on the hunt, saying, hey, check this out, this bed I just found, check out the big footprint. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, well, I need one more deer and I could use an extra cape anyway. Let's go see who it is. Like, I was literally texting my friend, you know, as I was going through the hunt, basically dictating what I was about to do and going to do, and it all worked perfect. And it's coincidentally, basically one of the two largest bucks that were on my camera the whole fall. What? What? What do you say to this? I don't even know what to say. What do you say? What? Isn't that crazy? Very exciting. Too fast. Can't believe it happened. Loved every second of it. Very, very fortunate. There you go. That's how it happened. Now, it's a deceiving looking deer because he's so big. Everything's real. He's a real heavy buck. Big deer. Big head. Big everything, right? So, at first, I wasn't even excited. I wasn't even excited when I seen him on the trail camera. I was like, oh, there's a nice buck. So here's an idea. So I'll try to hold everything right in front of me, same distance. So this is a 124-inch measuring blacktail rack from Vancouver Island, actually. I know a lot of people aren't familiar with the tape measure thing, but this is an easy way to describe it. So that's a 124-inch blacktail deer right there, all right? And I thought this guy's probably gonna be around the same. Now this one's a little different. This is a monster. 140 something, I forget. It's over 140 inches of blacktail antler right here. All right, for the people that are curious about how big the antlers are, this is why I'm doing this. This guy, I'm gonna get him mounted too, actually, this year. One of my larger blacktails. Now this is the guy that just came out. Oh, check this out. There you go. Very heavy. Deceiving. This is the weight of the antler. Everything just, he's heavy, compact, he's seamed. Till I got him. Got got him home, got my hands on him, and he's got 144 inches of frickin' blacktail antler on his head. Crazy, right? 16 3/4 inch inside spread on him. There you go. For the curious. And then, believe me, the Stanley the tape measure will never make anything any different. It's the experience and the memory, and that's what that is. And that was awesome. So, there you go. That's my story. It's a short one. It was exciting. So much fun. And it's such a, everything's going so fast, time's whizzing by, it's such a weird blur, and it's almost to the point now, it's like, whoa, did that even happen? It's been quite the fall for me. That's about this big bear that I became aware of a couple years ago. It's one of the biggest black bears I've ever seen, probably an old one. I ended up harvesting him with my bow this year, 7'7" black bear with a 20-inch bean on him. Not that I care about the skull size, but for those who are curious. And then I go up north and I found a 196-inch mule deer and stayed on him and got him. And then I come home and I get this Boone and Crockett frickin' blacktail with my bow. And I got an elk this year too. It's been a crazy fall. But anyway, there you go. Got me another blacktail. And I'll be posting this up. You know, make a mention for all the people that might find this video through here. The blacktail deer hunting by howtohunt.com Facebook page. There's a shit pile of people there, and I haven't had time for Facebook. I just haven't. And I definitely haven't had any time for the pages or blacktail. I've been so busy with everything else. But Chris Pascal, I hope I pronounced your name right, Chris. Tom Fish are taking care of that page, and I think they're cleaning up all the commercial bullshit and non-related blacktail posts, and doing a great thing there. And I missed the page. I'll have more time for it shortly, hopefully. And but anyway, there's a shout out for the Facebook page and the great guys who are avid, keen, wicked blacktail hunters, man. And they're taking care of that page and doing a great job. So I pass that on. What else? I think that's about it. That's about it. I'm in a bit of a crunch for time here right now, but that's all I got. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll add on just a handful of the trail camera videos that I saved the other day from my spot. You can see that here too. But anyway, that's about it. That's my story. That's how it happened. There he is. And I hope that everybody had a real good, safe, productive fall. And you're about to have a super awesome, duper Christmas. So there you go. I will be back with more, and I'll be sharing a lot more blacktail stuff on the YouTube and on the Facebook blacktail page as soon as I get a little more time. There you go. much.